Hello, it's Helly and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm doing a book haul video. It's probably been years since I made my last book haul video, and the main reason for that is that A, I usually do not buy books in bulk on a normal month. B, I really stopped buying physical books as much as I used to and shifted to Kindle and audiobooks for a long period of time. But some things happened in my life last year in November-ish, and I was going through a really hard time, and I realized that I'm happiest in my comfort zone, which is with books. By then I had already moved here and this house was almost empty of books, right? There were just a few books that I had brought here, and my family or even me did not have the capacity to go back home again to bring a few books back. So I decided, you know what? Let me buy some more books. I bought almost 50 books in the span of last couple of months, and today I'm gonna show you all of them. One reason why I did not like making book haul videos that much is because I do not really have an idea of majority of these books. Some of these books I do, but majority of these books all I know is the cover and maybe the blurb. So, but I'm going to tell you what I based my decision process of buying the books on, and then maybe you can decide if that can help you. And overall, I think you'll find it fun to know more about my reading taste, because trust me, my reading taste is wild sometimes. So yes, without any further ado, let's get started with this video. Let's start on a little light-hearted note, and I got 10 books from Archie's Digest. Now, if you are a 90s kid, I'm pretty sure you have read Archie's comics already. You must be a fan of Veronica or Betty. So I'm more of a Betty fan, but lately I have been relating more with Veronica, or finding her so much more cooler than I did as a kid. As a kid, I found her really mean, and as an adult, I think she's my soul sister. So that's kind of weird. I will love to read Archie's Digest again, understand it better, because I'm sure I did not understand a thing when I read it for the first time when I was like 10 or 12 years old max. So this is the collection I got. It has like 10 books. I got this from Star Mark of Kolkata, but you can get it online as well, I'm pretty sure. And yes, by the way, all the links to the books will be in the description below in case you want to check them out directly on Amazon. And I'll mention where exactly I got these books as well for your reference. Now, of course, when you buy books from a local bookstore, or Star Mark is not literally a local book, it's a chain, but when you buy it from a physical bookstore, of course, the cost is higher. But I just couldn't control myself. I think I got like 4 or 5 books from Star Mark at my last visit, and I'm pretty much happy, although Crossword is more of a favorite for me. I got a hardback of Fyodor Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground. I have already liked The Idiot and Crime and Punishment very much, and I'm hoping that I like this too. I am usually very fond of Russian literature in general, especially the short stories, but for Fyodor Dostoevsky, you can make an exception. The language is definitely hard, so I wouldn't recommend Dostoevsky for any beginner, but if you still want to give it a try, maybe you have to look up a lot about the analysis, summary, etc. But definitely highly recommend. He challenges your thoughts. He really raises questions that might have been on your mind or you may not have thought of, but once they are in your mind, you'll keep thinking of it for a long time. Now, I'm not sure if Notes from Underground is going to be as good as Crime and Punishment, being the cult classic that it is, but I hope that it will be good enough, being from the same writer. By the way, quick recommendation, this beautiful sipper that I got from Amazon. I'm obsessed with it. It came with a lot of straws. It's made of steel. It does have a huge quantity. I usually have heavy work days, and having a sipper like this has helped me a lot to stay hydrated and also enjoy my drinks and, you know, make me smile in general because it's so cute. Not sponsored. I wish it was. Don't even remember the brand name, but I will leave it in the description below because I get a lot of questions about this because I'm always using it in my lives. Helly has not done a book haul until she buys Murakami. Now, I got South of the Border, West of the Sun from Murakami, a book that I've already read a couple of years ago, but it was one of my favorites from him. I remember really liking the essential meaning of South of the Border, West of the Sun, which is like really depressing. Not gonna tell you right now. I think it's kind of a spoiler or an important part of the story itself. But I decided that I want a physical copy of this. Again, the physical copy was really costly, but for Murakami, it's worth it. Lately, more than ever, I have been reading up more about what is love and what it means to be loved, and I got 2 books that will help me with the same, and it's called Course of Love and All About Love. This book I have already read before. I have made a video as well with my favorite takeaways, but I did not have a physical copy, so I got it. Course of Love by Alan de Botton, who is basically the creator and the narrator and the brains behind School of Life, which is a very popular philosophy channel on YouTube. I really like his writing style, the way he presents thoughts, and this book is beautiful. The amount of books on love I'm reading, the next time I'm in a relationship, it better end like Virat and Anushka. Next up is The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir. This is a critical text of feminist literature. I have read it again in my college days, but I again did not have a physical copy. It's a very fat book. It's almost 800 plus pages, and it's phenomenal. However, it's of very literary and academic language, so I wouldn't recommend it for a newbie. If you're a newbie, you can definitely read the previous books that I recommended. They are pretty much good for any beginner who has never read before as well. You'll get a deep understanding of what the authors are talking about. Now, by the way, did you notice that all these 3 books are in the non-fiction category? So let's move a little bit into fiction. Now, fiction, I got this book simply for the cover. I'm not ashamed. A heart and a body in the world, and I was mesmerized by the cover. It's so good. And by the way, did you know that a lot of authors pay in lakhs to get their book covers designed? Because they matter a lot. And the first time I found this out, when I came into the book industry or got to know more about the book industry, I was so shocked. But when I bought this book, I understood that this must happen to more people. This is a young adult literature, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, if you are interested in it, you can read it up. Next up, we have Matt Haig's The Midnight Library. This is a super cool concept, and I'll read out the blurb quickly for you so that you get what it's about. That between life and death, there is a library, and within that library, the shelves go on forever. Every book provides a chance to try another life you could have lived. I think this is such an interesting concept. There are times when I believe me, you, and everyone in general thinks about choices that we made, and what if we had made another choice, where would we be now? Now, mostly I'm not the kind of person who has a lot of regrets, but in the areas that I do, I do think that I would love a library like this, and the concept, the writing style, all of that is really good. Matt Haig is popular for writing a book called How to Stop Time, which you might also read. I have not read it, but I'll start my journey with this author from this book. The next book is a narrative about the Holocaust called Mouse. I have already read this book. Again, I did not have a physical copy, so I got it. And it's a painful, thought-provoking read. Just because you see mouse on the cover, don't underestimate the power of this graphic novel. In fact, it's one of the top most acclaimed graphic novels in the whole world. If you just search for top 10 graphic novels of all time, Mouse is always on the list. So if there's only one graphic novel that you want to read in your lifetime, or you can read as of now, definitely give Mouse a shot. The next book that I bought is again a hardcover, and again from Amazon. This is from Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have already read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by her, and I did definitely like it very much. That's why I went for another book. Malibu Rising is a book about a family where everything goes wrong. It's like a crazy, wild read, and I do not know much more than that. This was in the blurb, and having known Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing style from the last book that I've read from her, I'm sure that I'm gonna like. I believe that it's more of a page turner than a slow burn, so I'm excited to read it maybe on a hectic day. So definitely want to give you a review of this one. This is one that I'm really excited to read because it looks very different and seems very different from the last book that I have read from her. The next book is Radio Silence by Alice Osman. This was a book that one of my subscribers once recommended to me, and it has been on my list ever since. I did start reading it once in the audiobook format, could not finish it. It is a book that deals with the theme of identity very well as far as I have read in the reviews, and I'm super excited to see how that is explored in this book. The next book is this beautiful, gorgeous book called The Beauty of Everyday Things. I really was mesmerized by the cover, the title, the intention of the book. A lot of times we take things around us for granted, and I do think that this book is going to help me change that perspective. Apparently, it's a very poetically and observationally written book, and I'm in for it. And next, of course, I had to add something romantic due to the lack of it in my life. And this is the story of Lily and Ryle in Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us. I have never read any book from Colleen Hoover before, and that's a shame because she's a very popular writer. I'm not sure why I did not read her yet, but I'm super excited to give this a read. I'm just going to quickly put this stack up, and then I'm going to move on to the next part of the books that I want to recommend you. And now I think I have almost 25 books or so left to show you. The very first book that I want to show you, or the very first few books that I want to show you, are out. I also bought Kazuo Ishiguro's Never Let Me Go. Kazuo Ishiguro is a Nobel Prize winning author. I have read his most popular novel already, which is Remains of the Day. I did like it very much. It was very different from any type of book I've ever read before. So I cannot wait to see what this book will entail. And the next one is Exciting Times. Now, unlike what you think, I did not buy it for the title nor for what the cover looks like. I bought it for the beautiful, beautiful blurb, and let me read it out to you. When you leave Ireland to spend your parents' money, it's called a gap year. When Ava leaves Ireland to make her own money, she's not sure what to call it, but it involves a badly paid job in Hong Kong teaching grammar to rich children. Julian, who likes to spend money on Ava and lets her is it Ava or Ava? And lets her move into his guest room. Edith, who Ava meets while Julian is out of town and actually listens to her when she talks. Money, love, cynicism, unspoken feelings, and unlikely connections. Exciting times ensue. Now, I could relate a lot to this blurb because I'm someone who has moved out, although like I do not have a lot of instability financially right now. It has always been a hard time when you move out, come to a new place, meet new people, make new relationships, handle everything in a new space on its own. The culture, it's like a shock. So I could relate a lot when I was reading the blurb. Maybe I'll make a video once if you're interested about like how moving affected me, the cultural shock especially. These are things that I find very interesting to discuss, but I'm not sure if I have enough ears for that. So if you're interested, do let me know. The next book, again, science fiction or non-fiction. This one is called Bad Science. I want to know more about all the things that we know wrong, all the myths, all the hoaxes that are spread online, offline, the not so real statistics and all of that. That's the main reason I got this book. We have Milan Kundera's The Unbearable Lightness of Being, one book that I've started so many times as an audiobook but never managed to finish. We also have On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous. This is a very, very popular book from Wong, and frankly speaking, this is an author that I've always avoided for some reason. Like, there are certain books that are really popular and you just don't read it or don't even feel like reading it for some reason. I just thought that it might be a good idea to give this a try finally. And lastly, I have Tools of Titans here. It is a very popular nonfiction book from Tim Ferriss, a very popular podcaster and a personality in the world of self-development. I do think I'll be able to learn so much more about being a better person and executing my business, professional and career aspects if only I'm able to be more productive, which is why I'm gonna read this book. And yes, you can read it too. Tim Ferriss has written the book called 4-Hour Workweek, a book that I've already reviewed on my channel before, so you can check it out if you want. I'll leave a link in the description. I did like that book very much. How much I resonate with it has changed over time, to be honest. I do remember I loved it very much when I had read it for the first time. I don't agree with it that much now. So it does happen that someone's views change as they grow older, and I think that is super interesting how the same book reads differently as you age. The next book I got is called Ego is the Enemy. Now, Ego is the Enemy is a book that I bought just because I liked the cover. I do not think I have a lot of ego, to be honest, but I would be happy to see if this challenges me in some way, maybe helps me find out some newer things about me. But yeah, that's the main reason I got this nonfiction. Then there is Yasunari Kawabata's Beauty and Sadness. He's a very popular Japanese author, a little known one, but I wanted to read something from him for so long. After Yukio Mishima, this was the writer I wanted to read very, very badly. Beauty and Sadness is about a man who remembers his past love many, many years later, a girl who is so much more younger than him. He goes to visit her. Of course, life is just not the same anymore, and what ensues. It's a pretty thin novel. I hope that I'll be able to finish it soon. I have a book called How to Kill Your Family. Sadly, it's not a manual. Anyway, there's another book called There Once Lived a Woman Who Tried to Kill Her Neighbor's Baby. Again, not a manual. There's the next book is The Dangers of Smoking in Bed. Definitely not a manual. Anyway, I do understand these 3 books sound really scary, but these are just like normal fiction books. And I was aware of that. Trust me, I did not buy them because I thought these are manuals. I don't even smoke. And if my parents are watching, I don't even want to kill my family. And if my neighbors are watching, I don't want to kill my neighbor's baby. Anyway, so out of these 3 books, I do want to talk a little bit more about this. Ludmila Petruska is a very popular Russian author, and she writes these scary fairy tales, and all of them have these like strange, scary titles. I'll read some of them out. For example, one of her books is called There Once Lived a Girl Who Seduced Her Sister's Husband and Then He Hanged Himself. Then there's another one called There Once Was a Mother Who Loved Her Children Until They Moved Back In. So it's very interesting. I really wanted to read more of her. Then there is this book called The Beauty of the Husband. This is more of poetry. It says something like this is like a tango. This story is like a tango. It is essays. It's essays based on the idea of Keats, who said that beauty is truth. I'm really having a hard time understanding and grasping this book, honestly speaking. So if anyone can help me, do let me know. But definitely was very intrigued by the blurb of this, the cover of this, and what it promises. Then there is Yoko Ogawa's The Housekeeper and the Professor. It's about a professor who loses his memory every day, and he has this beautiful relationship with his housekeeper and her son. So it's kind of an intriguing read. So all these books that I have very different plots. They are very assorted, and no matter what type of mood I am in, I know that I'll have something to read. So that is interesting. Shout out to Anshul for gifting me this beautiful candle. It smells heavenly. And yeah. Oh, I forgot to show you a few books here. Just a second. By the way, there's some more books that I bought, but people have lent it from me, which includes Chandran Sudha, which is Gunaho Ka Devta, English version. I also bought Psychology of Money, again, lent for reading to some people who I hope will return it back. Non-fiction, I got You Are a Badass at Making Money, which I already know that I am, but I need to get better to grow my business to the next level, and I hope that happens very soon. There's Wonder, which is more of a children's book, but I think that it must be a good read on a hard day for me. There's Rework. It's focused on changing the way someone works long term, and I think that is something I've definitely read. The current style of working I have is not very productive, I believe. And I got Uzumaki by Junji Ito. Junji Ito, if you don't know, writes brilliant horror manga. You need to read Tomie. And his graphics are so scary. They are going to freak the F out of you. And of course I'm in for it. Of course I love it. So definitely give it a read if you want to get spooked. Coming to more books on love, there's 40 Rules of Love, a book that I've read many years ago, but I'm gonna read it again, and I am wondering if I'd like it very much now. Then there's Lover's Discourse by Roland Barthes, a little bit more on the literary end, so I would recommend this for beginners and this for advanced or medium level readers. I definitely have some English books on freelancing, and the first one that I have here is Freelance Bible. The next one is Coaching, but I'm not gonna pull it out right now because Coaching is a book that I already had. It's technically not a part of this book haul. Freelance Bible by Alison Grund is a pretty good book for anyone starting their freelancing journey. But if you're really interested in making money and giving a service to people globally, I think you should also check out my second YouTube channel, Helly, where I make content specifically for people who want to be freelancers. I got Greatest Hindi Stories Ever Told and Greatest Bengali Stories Ever Told for very obvious reasons. Both the languages are very close to my heart, and I love reading books in translation because my ability to read in original Hindi or original Bangla is very poor. Although I have read a few, it just takes me a lot more time than it does to read English. It's only when I really like an English format of a book that I go and read the Bengali one or the Hindi one, because I do know that some flavor must have been lost. So I want to grab it all if I really like the book. So these collection of short stories does help me a lot, especially if you're someone who does not read a lot or struggles to read. Please do read short story collections. There is Doab Dil by Sarnath Banerjee. There's very few Indian comic or graphic novel writers rather that I enjoy reading, and Sarnath Banerjee is one of them. I have read Corridor by him already from the Library of British Council, but I'm really hoping that I like this one even more. The last couple of books, Sally Rooney's Conversations with Friends. I really like Normal People. I cannot wait to read this. The way Sally Rooney's stories are so simple yet complicated. And lastly, I have This Is How You Lose Her by Junod Diaz. I intentionally kept it for the last because for almost 2 years, I was able to be with my best friend, and it was the most meaningful relationship that I have had till date. And last year, I lost this person, not due to any fault of ours, just outgrowing, I guess. That happens with people growing older. And I remember that he used to read this book to me when I used to be sick. And you know, these are a collection of short stories, so he used to spend like hours reading them out to me to help me sleep. I was having a lot of sleep issues. This book was really special to me, and I did not have a copy of it, of course, so I decided I'll get it. And yes, this book is definitely the most special book in this whole haul. I have considered making a video on my last breakup because it has taught me so many things. I think I've grown so much in that relationship, especially being someone who has a lot of self-worth issues coming from a toxic relationship before that. I really gained so much in that relationship. I know that it couldn't work out, but there's so many beautiful things that it has left me with. I am not sure if people will be interested again in listening to that. But these were all the books that I got, almost 50 books. I hope that you'll buy some of these. I'll leave a link to them in the description below. And yes, with that, I'll take your leave. I hope that you enjoyed this haul after a very long time. Let me know if you would like more. Let me know if there's any sort of video that you want from me next, because frankly speaking, I'm a little short on content ideas right now, and all the ideas I do have, I do think that I've made them in some way already. So I would love some more good ideas if you can share it in the comments below. And yes, bye bye. Have a good day and have a terrific week ahead. And yes, this is Helly signing off.